Hey everybody, Marion Swingler here, Confident You Podcast. I am very excited about what we're about to dive into tonight. I want to honor the passing of Tina Turner. She was relentless in her pursuit of being her, of being heard, her authentic self. There was a time in her life where she fell prey to someone abusing her physically, mentally, emotionally, financially, in every way, every aspect. This is her story that she told. So from her words, this is what took place. But from her abuser, he said, and I quote, "Yeah, I hit her, but I didn't hit her more than the average guy beating his wife. The truth is, our lives were no different than from the guys next door. I just have to stop there." Okay, so I think I hope you have the compassion and feel what I feel. Because to agree that you're hitting someone and then say, "I'm not doing any more than the guy next door that's beating his wife." So let's get into it. Tonight we have someone here who helps women fight back, who helps them take their voice back, to get their identity back, to get their freedom to walk in this free land back. I'm excited to have her here with me and very honored that she's here to discuss all that she's going to discuss. So with no further delay, introducing Tiffany D. Miss Tiffany, you're not excited. You told me. Yeah, there it is. There, you told me. I said, wait a minute. Miss Santana.
Hey, Marion.
Listen, very excited to have you here tonight. Honored and blessed. I know that your time is very valuable. I believe that about everyone that comes to join me. What you're joining me tonight to discuss is extremely is actually more common than people realize. It's more common than people realize. So let's first just start. Let's introduce you to the people. Tell the people who you are.
I am Tiffany D. Santana, as you say, almost my full government. I am the executive director of a domestic violence intervention program called Bethany House of Northern Virginia. I am also a certified transformational confidence coach. And I just love helping people, and I love helping people to transform and be their best selves, the best version of themselves. And that's pretty much the story of who I am.
And that's pretty much the story of who I am. You know, there's actually something I wanted to ask you about. There is this here floating somewhere out on the web. I just need an explanation. Please share. Please share. Just let's go through who's in the picture from the beautiful silver-haired fox on the side of you. And then, just make your way around the table and let's just see.
Are so funny.
I just wonder. I wonder.
So the beautiful woman with the silver hair and glasses is my dear mother, Velma. And to the right of Velma, that is me in 2012.
Go the other way.
To the right of me.
Go the other way.
You want me to go the other way?
Yes.
Because we already know who's on the right. My husband,
Mhm.
my fantastic, amazing, fantabulous husband, Richard, is to the left of my mom. And that shiny round head that we see is my father, Jimmy. And we are with President Obama. And in that picture, I am praying with him and for him, along with my family.
How did you get blessed with that honor? Not just you, your whole family is in the room with President Barack Obama. Please.
So the very realist answer is prayer.
Yeah.
My mother prayed to have a personal meeting with her president. She loved him. And she prayed this before he was president because she worked on his campaign. She loved him. She said, I know God's going to give me a time to just tell him how I feel about him. I'm just going to sit down with him one day. And originally, I think she believed that it would be an event at the White House, that they would bring in all the volunteers and she'd get to shake his hand. But in 2012, something was happening very similar in 2012 that's happening in the news today. The government was getting ready to go over what they called a fiscal cliff. If they didn't get the debt ceiling raised by a certain time, we were going over a fiscal cliff. Whitehouse.gov did a campaign to ask families what would happen if your taxes got raised by $2,000. So I was a school teacher at the time. I wrote in just during my planning period, kind of on a whim. I'm just going to respond to this thing really quickly. I told about how we live as a multi-generational family. And so everything that happens to us happens multiplied because we have several adults in the house. And so I got an email from whitehouse.gov. They said they wanted to do a story. Could they send out a camera crew? Great. Yes. Fantastic. A couple days after that, I got a phone call. We'd like to send a senior White House official to your home. Would you be open to that? Yes.
This is in your home?
In my home. Yes. Yes. So, of course, I'll have a senior White House official. That would be great. I love Valerie Jarrett. Yes. So they sent the Secret Service, did a sweep of the house and made sure everything was legit. I was at work. My mom, at the time, she was an in-home childcare provider. And so the Secret Service came, they were doing their thing. And the lead agent says to my mom, I'm sorry we have to make such a commotion, but this is what happens when the president comes. And so, of course, after they picked her up from the floor, because no one knew anything by this time, and we know she loves him, she just, of course, had a really emotional reaction. The president was coming, and then we're all, excited and nervous and can't tell anybody because we can't, lead with the story before the press does. But he showed up at our house the next day. All this happened in the span of a week. He showed up at our house on a Thursday. He came in, he put us right at ease. He said, the press corps is going to come in. There'll be 30 reporters in your house. You don't have to do anything. I'm going to talk, explain to them what's going on, send them away, and we'll just talk. And that's exactly what happened. The press came, he did his thing, they left, he loosened up his tie, slouched in his chair, and just talked to a family for, almost an hour. Just sat and enjoyed our company, and we enjoyed his, and we closed the meeting with this. I asked if I could pray for him before he left, and he said, yes, please, and grabbed our hands. And at the end of it, just, agreed with us in Jesus' name. And that was history. It was just fantastic.
That was her story. Yes, ma'am. You are amazing. You are amazing.
God is amazing. He made that happen.
Yes, he is. My goodness. And as his faithful child, you are being blessed. Your mother, listen, I got a list that I would like to
give it a list. I'll send it on to her.
She has a close connection. I'm very particular, honestly, about who prays for me.
As you should be.
Very particular. So yes, she definitely, she's going on list. So there we are with that. So let's go back. I just had to, when I saw that, I was kind of floored. So I just had to. So let's go back to you as a child, you as a teenager. Who were you?
I was a really sweet, inquisitive young child. I was very respectful, very obedient, very helpful. I was a little nerdy. My mother just recently reminded me that when I was little, I collected all kinds of facts and had to share my little facts all the time about all kinds of things, buttons and science projects and math and whatever else I could collect. Walking little Jeopardy kid.
Oh,
And so my childhood was really good. I grew up in Northern Virginia with both my parents and my sister, and I was really close to my grandparents. I saw them every weekend, almost all summer, and spent a lot of time with them. Just a really good childhood. Grew up in church, had a really good, extensive church family. So that was fantastic. And then I hit 13 and things changed a little bit at 13. My mother calls it the body snatcher stage because she says that some alien life form came and replaced her sweet child with some being that kind of looked like her but wasn't acting like her. And I went through a little spell of rebellion and figuring out life and doing everything I thought I could do. And eventually I came back around.
Okay, no. Before you came back around, you can't just say, saying you're rebellious is really not explaining the magnitude and depths of your body snatching experience.
So I did well. See, now my mom's watching and she's gonna hear all the dirt, all the behind the scenes.
Hopefully it's too late. Hopefully, listen. You ask her to pray now, so as she's listening, forgiveness is on her. I'm just saying.
Yes, yes.
I'm listening.
So so I did some sneaking out and going places I wasn't supposed to go. I smoked as a young teenager, unfortunately. I didn't care much for doing what I was supposed to do at home. I was angry for whatever reason. I didn't have any reason to be angry at that age. I guess it's just, you're going through your hormonal changes and you're trying to figure out who you are and you're trying to find your voice. And I had a running buddy. She's still my best friend in the whole wide world. We've known each other since we were 10. We've been through everything together, but we did a lot of sneaking to parties and hanging out with older people and, just generally doing the things that I think some young people do when they're trying to figure out what this is all about. And having been such a good child and so respectful and obedient, I think at that time it was just like, I'm just going to break free and try to do whatever I can do and be independent. Because I was grown at 13, right? I knew everything. I knew all the things. So I was just going to go out there and do all the things that I knew how to do as a grown 13-year-old.
As a grown 13-year-old. Okay. All the things.
All the things.
All right. So moving on from your body snatcher phase, what came next for you?
High school was a different story. I was very active in high school. I found a place and a purpose. I was a cheerleader. I was in student government. That's when I really started discovering my voice as a leader. I was captain of the cheerleaders. I was vice president of my class. I believed in creating a community that everyone could be proud of. So high school turned. It was better for me. I still wanted to have fun. I still wanted to do all the things that high schoolers do, but it really started to be the place where I started to discover exactly who I wanted to be. And I started to practice confidence in high school, trying new things, putting myself out there, doing things scared, speaking a lot in front of people, whether it was at church or at school. And so high school was a great experience for me. We had a great, diverse community in our high school of 2,000 students. There were 76 countries represented and 32 languages spoken. It was just a great place to learn and grow and just develop.
And this is in Virginia.
In Virginia, Northern Virginia, right outside Washington, D.C., in Fairfax County.
And that's where you still are now.
Northern Virginia.
That's where you still are today.
That's where I am now. I took a short stint down to Hampton Roads, Virginia, down in Norfolk. I went to college down there and lived there for about 16 years, found my husband there, and we lived together for a while in Norfolk. And then we moved back here in 2010. So, and right back to the same place in Fairfax County where I went to high school. So it's really cool to be able to live in the same community that grew me.
Okay. And then fast forwarding to today. Today you do what? Because you said that it groomed you, high school groomed you to be a leader. So
Yes.
Express how that leadership is showing up now in your life.
So currently I serve as executive director, as I said, of Bethany House of Northern Virginia. And it's the first such leadership role that I've had where I actually lead a team. I'm responsible for leading an organization and developing it. And it's fantastic. I was built for it. I have been prepared for it over these years. It is my assignment. I'm clear on it in this season that it's what I'm supposed to be doing right in this moment. And it's growing me in so many different ways, but it's given me so much purpose. And I am in a position again where I can help people transform. Almost everything I've done in my life has been about transformation and helping and serving. So it's just a blessing to be able to do this in this season.
So transformation, helping, and serving. So exactly who do you serve there at Bethany House?
So at Bethany House, we serve women and children who are escaping domestic violence. And much of what we do is to help them to pick up the pieces and rebuild after they have made the courageous decision to leave what they've known and start all over, sometimes with absolutely nothing, sometimes in a new state, sometimes in a new country even. And what we do is provide them with a wide variety of services and support to help them to start over and to transform.
To start over and transform. How does this journey start? Let's say there's me and I'm in a situation and I have children, and how do I then seek help?
So it happens in a variety of ways for us. Believe it or not, most people Google us. They Google women's shelter. They Google domestic violence shelter. And in Northern Virginia, we're usually the first organization that pops up in Google. So they'll email us very often. Our helpline allows for texting because sometimes phone calling is dangerous. And also people call our helpline. We also get referrals from the National Domestic Violence Hotline because we are a non-jurisdictional, privately funded organization. We can serve women from everywhere, no matter where they live. They don't have to necessarily live in our jurisdiction. And so we get women that come to us from all over the country who are fleeing domestic violence. And we'll screen them, we'll put them through an intake to make sure that we have the right services for them. If we don't, or if we're full, we are very networked. So we'll make sure that we give them the resources that they need to go somewhere where they can still be safe, but get exactly what they need.
So I arrive. How on that phone call or that email or in that text, what is it that is to be established?
So initially, we will first do a lethality assessment to make sure that they're not in danger of losing their lives at that moment. We will do a general screening to see what the situation is. Sometimes women call us and they're not domestic violence victims. They are generally homeless or something else has happened. So we do have a network of other organizations that deal with general homelessness, but we'll do an assessment. If that particular woman seems to be a good fit for our program, then we'll usually schedule a time that's safe for them to leave within 24 to 48 hours. They'll come to our office. we'll do a more extensive intake where we'll get some information from them, and then we'll send them right on to our safe house.
So do they know what the steps are? How would I know what's getting ready to happen?
Usually we'll walk at every step, we walk through and we share with women what the next step is. Whether the next step is we'll take you into our intake in preparation for coming into our safe house, or whether the next step is we have another resource for you and we're going to make sure that you get to that resource. Okay. So because what happens in those situations are usually very fluid and often very volatile, we have to be ready to shift and to do things differently for each woman in each situation. So it can vary.
Very good. Very good. Every situation is very sensitive and unique to the individual. How do I get there, and what do I do first?
So when you first come in to the safe house, what we'll do is we will take you to your room. There'll be a welcome basket there for you with some basic personal needs, a small devotional, and some next steps. So what you can expect here at Bethany House. There's usually a binder there that has a welcome letter from me, from the program director, and some other tips. But what we do is we allow them really to decompress for about 48 hours. Many women come to us having been in a tense situation where they're exhausted because they don't sleep, because they're on eggshells. Some women come to us from their cars. They've just left their home, and the safest next step is to go sleep in their car somewhere. And women are exhausted after they've had that experience. So we give them 48 hours or so just to rest and sleep and to get oriented before we further orient them into our program.
That's beautiful, to allow them just to woosah, to understand, okay, you're here, you've made it. I got there with my kids, because we're still using myself as an example. I got there with my children. What's there for them?
So our safe house is designed for families. So we even have adjoining rooms where mom can have a single room to herself, but the room is adjoined so she can keep the door open and keep an eye out for her kids. We have children's programming. We outsource children's counseling. We have several groups that will come in and do children's activities. We make sure that they get set up in school, in a local school that's close to the safe house. We make sure that they have everything that they need as far as school supplies and clothes and all of those things. We give them usually a security toy of some sort.
Yes.
To comfort them, depending on the age of the child. But in the same way that moms have to decompress, the children have to decompress too. So we give them time and space and support. There's a live-in house manager. She provides a lot of security for the families there, and she supports them in however they need to get adjusted when they come in.
To get adjusted when they come in. So basically, I have gotten there, so I have escaped the physical domestic ramifications or remnants of the domestic abuse. How then, what other components besides the physical? Now I'm removed and I'm not there, so it's not happening, but I may still be having thoughts. I may still be having responses to people going by or different things like that. What have you put in place to deal with that?
So our safe house first is very secure. It's undisclosed location, security cameras everywhere, across the street from a police station. So we try to make the feel of the house be as secure as possible without feeling like you're locked in. The house is beautifully designed. We had an interior designer come in who specializes with trauma-informed interior design. So the spaces are created and designed for people who have experienced trauma, which I think is phenomenal. I didn't even know it existed until we started working on the renovation of this house. And then what's different about our organization relative to many domestic violence shelters is that we offer a comprehensive program. So women who come to us, first of all, they stay for 4 to 6 months. Most shelters are 30-day stays, and 30 days great to get you out of harm's way,
Yes.
but it's not nearly enough time to figure out how you're going to rebuild your life. So many times the women come to us from the 30-day shelters as well. But we offer counseling. Trauma counseling is a part of our program. We offer life advancement programming is what we call it. And it's modular. So women get information and education and safety planning, financial planning and literacy, healthcare and self-care, professional development, personal development. We really focus on helping the woman to rebuild herself the way she wants to. And we also provide connections to other services, legal assistance, because of course, when people are leaving domestic violence situations, there are lots of legal ramifications and legal things to think about, like custody, like divorce, like protective order. So we connect them with attorneys, usually who offer their services pro bono, which is fantastic.
Yes.
We offer them anything that they need really to get themselves set up, whether we connect them with doctors or dentists and people from the community who provide support. It's a very comprehensive program. And once they transition out of the shelter and into their own permanent housing, because we don't release any woman until she has a permanent safe place to stay, we continue to work with them in our aftercare program for 2 more years to make sure that they can continue to get counseling, continue to get life advancement programming, continue to get themselves established. And so in doing that, we have a more than 95% rate of women who do not return back to abuse, because the care is so comprehensive, because it's so structured and long-term, and because it's very woman-focused. She gets to create her own individualized plan for how she will walk forward in her new life. And it's exciting. It's exciting work.
That is absolutely beautiful. You give them all the keys to confidence in every area of their life as they're recreating their authentic self to walk this earth. That is absolutely beautiful. You said something. You said homeless. Could you share with everyone your experience with homelessness?
So each year in March, around Good Samaritan Day, I spend one night homeless. And it started as a nudge from a friend who was doing it for a different organization that deals with people who sleep in their cars. And they were trying to raise funds to build parking lots where people could park safely if they lived in their cars. It was just one way to answer this huge problem of homelessness. And they nudged me to do it that first year. And I said, I deal with people who become homeless for a different reason. Yeah. I need to try to do this, at least to figure out what it feels like as a woman who has decided that her best option is to leave her home to go sleep in a car, because home is a much worse fate than the car. And I did it 3 years ago for the first time. It was a life-changing experience. It changed everything about how we serve at Bethany House, because there are just certain things that you can't foresee or think of unless you've spent a little time, at least in part, in someone else's shoes. So I spent the night in March in the DC area. It's hit or miss in March. Sometimes it's hot, sometimes it's cold. Every year I've done it, it's been cold. 1 year snowing, but it teaches you what it feels like. It's uncomfortable, it's cold. You sleep with one eye open, so you don't get much sleep. It's nothing I'd ever want for anyone. It was so difficult. And the next morning, after the first time I woke up, and I just sobbed, because I imagined moms trying to do that with their little kids. I imagined my son, who is big and tall and towers over me now, but I imagined him being a 5-year-old and me trying to protect him and keep him safe, and sleeping in a car and trying to keep him warm and keeping one eye open to make sure no one's coming after us, or the abuser is not coming after you, trying to figure out even how to time when to use the restroom because business is closed. So you can't drink too late because you won't have anywhere to go to the restroom. I mean, all these things that you have to think about. And so it changed how we do intake. It changed how we do programming because living that experience, even for 24 hours, it's remarkable and frightening and overwhelming, but it's something I'm committed to doing every year as long as I can do it, because I always want to remember what that feels like and get into the shoes of our clients as much as I can to make sure that we're well informed in the way that we deliver care.
To make sure we're well informed in the way that we deliver care. When you said you love to serve, ma'am, you were not kidding. What would you say to parents? There are people that have been through domestic violence as children, so they've seen it inflicted on their guardian, male or female, because the rates for males are not far behind the rates of females, because there are, in every 3 females now, there's 1. In every 4 males, there's 1. So how would you say parents should explain or share the boundaries that someone should set up healthily to know, okay, yeah, no, this is not going to work? Like, what are those red flags that you, as a parent, you should explain to your children to be looking for?
Well, very first, no one should make you feel hurt intentionally in any way, whether it's physical harm, whether it's emotional harm, whether it's intimidation or bullying. It's not acceptable. And we are the CEOs of ourselves. We have a right to say who's in our lives, what they can do within our lives, whether they can be in certain levels of proximity to us. So that's first and foremost. If you're feeling hurt, if someone is hurting you, if someone is speaking negatively to you or speaking death to you or not speaking life to you, you have a right to say, I'm not going to accept that. You can't do that to me, period. And encouraging young people to have a voice, a respectful voice when respect is due, but a firm voice to say that you can't harm me. I'm valuable, I'm worthy, and you don't get to treat me any way you want to treat me. It's just so important. And you know when you're being hurt, you know when you're being manipulated, you certainly know when you're being physically hurt. But sharing that it's not okay and that you have to talk about it, you have to share what's going on, you have to communicate. It's just so important.
So I came in, we're going back to me. I came in or I didn't come in, but my child is watching all of this happen. Is that a call that you would take?
From the child?
Mm-hmm.
We would take the call from the child, but we are mandatory reporters. So we would have to report that to CPS.
Okay.
And Child Protective Services would have to take over from there.
Okay.
Whenever we receive a call, in order to act on the call, we typically have to have the call from the person who's being abused. They have to consent. They have to say they want help. Now, our helpline does counsel people in how to help their family members. Yes, absolutely. And we help people create safety plans. Maybe a woman's not ready to go yet, and she's just trying to figure out how. So we will also, through our helpline, help women to create safety plans, escape plans. We partner with another organization that helps us get people out quickly if they need to. So there's a lot of thought and a lot of planning that goes behind, and we're learning. We learn and we evolve every day because things change all the time. But we try our best to think about every possible scenario and plan for it so that we can be ready when people come to us.
I just have to applaud. I'm sitting here applauding. I just have to applaud everything that you're doing. How do you personally, now this is you, how do you go and witness all of this? how do you keep you safe? How do you protect you so that you don't take on other people's situations or issues?
With my position, I don't have as much client contact, as the people who work on my team. So we have people on the team that work with the clients every single day. I usually have the good fortune of seeing the clients as they're coming through the program and as they're changing and as they're having their wins. So for me, that's a great thing. I've been a teacher, so being a teacher for a long time, you learn how to leave your emotions at school, because you could take all the emotions of everything home with you if you don't set up boundaries for yourself. And so you really do have to learn how to put the hat on when you're there and take it off when you come home so you can be present for your family. It's not always easy because I love people and I have a really soft heart for people. So it's not always the easiest, but over time you learn. But I'm really mindful about making sure that my team, those who do work very closely with our clients, do have self-care time. They do have mental health days. They do take breaks. We are very open and honest about how people are feeling. And if they come to me and say, I'm taking Friday off, I'm going to have a long weekend, I just need to, then you go. Because if they're not well and healthy, they can't support those who need us the most. And so we are very mindful on our team about how we're doing, how we're really doing. We try to keep things as lighthearted as possible on our end, because we know a lot of times we do have to face ugly. And so we try to keep everything light with us. But there are a lot of considerations when you're working with this type of population that has struggled and is suffering. The beauty of it is, though, very often by the time they get to us, they're over the hardest part.
Right.
Now they're on the incline when they come to us. So that's the beauty of this part.
Whew. Okay. Wow. I am very impressed that your program is as long as it is, because I am familiar with the 30-day programs. So I did not know that in the vicinity, in the DMV, there was something this extensive, and that it also takes people outside of Virginia. That's a great bit of information to have. Is there anything that you would like for are there any telltale signs that you would like to tell people to watch out for that could help someone?
That's a great question. So domestic violence, let's first start here. It has its roots in control and power. So behaviors and words that try to impose control and power over someone else, that can happen through insults, through demeaning, through cursing and intimidation, through telling people what they can and can't do or can and can't wear, being insulting about how someone looks, putting curfews on adults. Those types of things are things to look out for. Harsh words, words that hurt, words that cut, words that kill. Those are things to look for. When you obviously see physical violence, that's something to look out for and certainly to intervene with. You don't have to physically intervene, but you call the police if you see someone putting their hands on someone else. Don't worry about, am I in their business? Don't worry about, are they going to be mad at me? You save someone's life and you intervene. But those behaviors that impose control and power over another person, those are the things that you really want to look for. And it's very difficult when someone is under, I'm going to say a spell because it's witchcrafty, when they are under the spell of violence, of power, and of control. You can't approach them logically. You can't go to someone who's being abused and say, you should just leave. You should just get out of here. You should just go. Why do you stay? You know you're being beaten. You know he's not only beating you, but he's cheating on you and he's doing this and this and that. Just go. And what happens to a person psychologically over time when they are controlled, when they are abused, it does such great detrimental damage to your psyche that there isn't clear logical thought very often. So the best thing to do is just to be there and be supportive, to let them know that you are there in the event that they're ready to take that step. Don't judge. Don't tell them what they're doing wrong. Don't tell them they should just leave. Say, I'm here for you. I see you. I understand. When you're ready, I'm here. Ask questions. You know, how is life for you? Is everything going okay? Is there any way I can help you or be supportive of you? Ask those questions. Let people know that you're safe enough to trust. And those are the best ways that you can help. And then let them know that when they're ready, you're going to be there to help them.
You said, when you're ready, I'm here. So how long is the I'm here?
Well, it depends. It depends on your own safety. And by safety, I mean not only your physical safety, but your mental safety. If you are investing so much in the hope that the person leaves, that it's causing you detriment in your own life, that's not going to be healthy for you, and you're not really going to be of help to them. But saying that you're going to be here and actually being here, you can be here and keep going on about your life, but just stay in proximity. And by proximity, not necessarily physical proximity, but just letting the person know that you're here, you're in arm shot, you're in earshot, just letting them know that when the time is right, or if they even want to be have a sounding board, allow them to do that, even if they do it many times. It usually takes a woman 7 times of trying to escape before she's actually successful. So she may leave, come back, and keep telling you the same story over and over. Let her go through the process. Continue to be there for her.
Say that again. It may take
7 times. And that's 7 times actually leaving and coming back. So she gets her way, she gets up her courage, she gets up, she gets out, and she leaves. But then to what? If there's no Bethany House where she gets the kind of support she needs, or she doesn't know exactly where to go, it's very easy to fall back into that, because comfortable becomes normal, even if it's dysfunctional. And so sometimes
say that again.
Comfortable becomes normal, even if it's dysfunctional.
I'm listening. I apologize that you caught me. I was like, wait. Okay.
What you're used to is become, our bodies are created for norms. Like our temperature regulates itself. When you get a spike in your temperature, something's off, because that our body stays in what's called homeostasis, likes to stay at that 98.6 degrees. And whatever we get used to, our body likes to stay there. And unfortunately, sometimes we can get used to being in abuse. And so even stepping out into something that's healthier for us, it's still different, and it's still outside of that norm. And so it's scary, and it feels weird to be safe sometimes. It sounds so off, but you have to really put yourself in their shoes. There are chemical changes that have taken place as a result of their abuse. And so it takes a lot of patience to help someone to move out of abuse and into independence and safety.
Wow. Okay. So this is going to sound odd. It's just me and the way I work. It's going to sound odd. Is there, I'm wondering, because I don't know, just asking, is there a house or place for the abuser that realizes, I can't keep doing this?
That is a fantastic question. And from what I know, no. However, that's on our radar. Our vision is to eliminate domestic violence one family at a time. And you can't do that without taking into account the needs of the abuser. People abuse, hurt people, that's true. People abuse because they have in some way been abused or mistreated. And so they're not born and they say, I want to wake up and beat people and harm people. That's not how it goes. So as a Christian organization, we love. We have to love like Jesus loved. Jesus loved everybody. And so it's really important for us, and it's on our radar, to at first work with the court system. We think that's going to be the easiest route to start working with abusers, is if it's court mandated, because a lot of people don't see that they need help until it's too late, unfortunately. But if they're mandated, then that takes away all of the barriers of why they won't do it. And so our goal, our director of programming and counseling services, she is very passionate about helping not only people who are offenders, but people who need to re-enter after crime. So this is her wheelhouse. We are committed to trying to make this happen, because we really want our community to be safe as a whole. And if we just attend to the abused, then we're missing 50% of the equation.
Yeah.
And the cycle will just continue. So I don't know of programs here that work with abusers, but we know that's a vacuum that needs to be filled. I'm not saying that there isn't one, but I want to, if it's not, I want us to be one of the first that does that, because it's just too important.
I am truly amazed. As I introduced the question, I was like, I really wasn't sure, but you understand. That's amazing. That's absolutely beautiful, because essentially this is a family. Essentially, yes, the woman can stay gone. Sometimes kids want to revisit. Sometimes kids go, now my grandchild wants to know who my dad is or who my mom is, whoever that abuser is. And it would just be great if they're not just left to their own devices.
Absolutely.
To their own way of thinking, to their own way of reacting, responding. And you said it so beautifully, unfortunately. Hurt people hurt people. Now, that was a lot. This was
but we can handle it.
But we can handle it. You are amazing. You are an amazing beacon of light. I've never seen you down. I always see you pressing forward. Your leadership that you learned in high school is definitely something that is thriving and growing and benefiting, I would say, one family at a time. So I thank you for that. I thank you for your contribution through this interview, that now, so around the globe, people now know that Bethany House is here for them. Am I correct?
Correct.
Around the globe, people now know that Bethany House is here for them, and they have personally met the executive director. I appreciate you, my Lord. All right, so I'm so honored.
Thank you so much.
I would like for you to take this opportunity. Now that we have the ear of the world, I would like for you to express how they can take advantage of the opportunity of life when you're helping them to fight back. It's not always a physical fight, but it's that the fight that you help them fight, that good fight. My Lord, I yield the floor to you. I yielded the floor to me.
That's okay. I'll take it. Whenever the floor gets yielded. One of the things I definitely want to share is that if you are in an environment where you are being harmed, where you're being controlled, where you're being abused, you are valuable and you are worth it, and your life has purpose, and God has so much for you. And so I want you to work on fighting back. Take time to encourage yourself, and then take the steps to get out. Unfortunately, violence escalates, and far too often it escalates to death. And I don't want that for anybody. So you can, if you are in trouble, you can contact Bethany House. You can call us at 888-80-HELPS, or you can call the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 800-799-7233. They will get you to the places that you need to be and get you the information that you need. I encourage you, I implore you, take the steps to get help. And if you know someone who is in a violent situation, be there for them. Encourage them, support them, let them know that you care and you're there. But on the screen, you'll see our number for Bethany House's helpline, 888-80-HELPS. And you can also reach the National Domestic Violence Hotline at 800-799-7233. If you want to follow me, you most certainly can. I can be found on Instagram at Tiffany D Santana. I post all kinds of stuff, some stuff serious, lots of stuff silly, and all things positive and all things confidence and confidence building, and a whole lot of Jesus you'll find at Tiffany D Santana. You can also follow Bethany House on Instagram at Bethany House NV, and also you can find us on Facebook, Bethany House of Northern Virginia. I want to share with you something very special that's happening at the end of this month on June 24th. If you are in the DC area, in the DMV, we are having a solidarity walk and luncheon for domestic violence awareness. We will start at 10 a.m. in McLean. We'll walk about a mile. We will observe some silent witness stories. Those are stories of women who did not survive domestic violence who live in our community. But we will have a luncheon where we will hear stories from survivors themselves, telling how people like you have helped them to conquer domestic violence and to live and thrive, and even to give back and help others. So if you'd like to join us, you can visit our walk website at bit.ly/walkbhnv2023. If you can't make it to the DC area on June 24th, but you want to contribute to help out our cause as we help women and children rebuild their lives after abuse, you can donate. We need donations. We need sponsors. We're building another safe house. So we need all the support we can get so that we can save more lives of women and children escaping domestic violence. So you can find the information on the lower third, bit.ly/walkbhnv2023. You can join us for the walk, or you can certainly donate and support our cause. I am team change agent. So if you want to hype my team up by donating to my team, I'll take it. You can join my team too. So I want to thank you so much. And let's fight back.
Yes, let's fight back. Let's fight back. Listen, there is something else I'm excited for. Listen, Miss Tiffany D Santana, please let the people know what you have coming soon.
I am so excited about this. I have written a devotional. It is called Becoming God's Friend, a 30-day interactive devotional to help you grow a close-knit relationship with God. This is my first baby. My husband has been asking me to write a book for as long as I've known him, 2 whole decades, and I finally completed it. It's coming soon. More than likely it'll be out midsummer, so I want you to keep an eye out for that. And we're going to have a growth group connected to the devotional. So as you read and as you grow closer to God, you'll be able to do that in community. So I'll be posting those things on my social media. Keep an eye out for that. Keep it in prayer, because I think it's something beautiful that people need in order to grow. We all need to know that God is for us and He's our friend and He loves us. And so this devotional is going to help you to walk in that and to enjoy the benefits of a close-knit relationship with Jesus.
Okay, my goodness, I'm excited like we're about to start. I am ready to fight back. Ma'am, you are amazing. Thank you so much. I knew what we were discussing. I did not understand the depth of the help for the abuser. That component, let me know how I can help, please.
Yes, I
Let me
definitely
know
will. I'm
how
going
I
to hold
can
you
help.
to it. You know
Yes,
I will.
not a problem. Not a problem at all. I want to thank you for joining us. Before you leave, I would like for you to give some confident tips on how to how to fight back mentally, emotionally, spiritually.
Well, one of the things that you certainly need to do is make sure that you're taking good care of yourself. Exercise, eat well. I take a boxing class that helps me to feel confident and secure. Take a self-defense class. Do things that empower you, that take good care of your body. By taking care of your body, you also take care of your mental health and your mental well-being. That's one way to become confident. Confidence follows achievement. Confidence follows certainty. So if there are things in life that you want to accomplish, but they scare you, do them scared. The only way to be certain is to do it and find out. And as you continue to take bold steps to do the things that maybe frighten you, but that are exciting to you, you will continue to build your confidence. And you are valuable. One of the things that I love about how we were created by our God is that we were created with special activities and works and plans in mind. God created a plan, then he created you specially for that plan. And so spend your time figuring out what that plan is and go after it boldly, because you're the only one in the world that can do that. And that is something that gives you confidence for sure. But you're special, you are valuable, you are worth the fight. And so if you don't fight back to do the things that you need to do in your life, I want you to think about today ways that you can do that, ways that you can take steps forward to fight back against negativity, to fight back against discouragement, to fight back against the lies that people have told you, and go get your life, live your best life, help other people, love other people, fight back for what's right, fight back for other people who are hurting.
All right, that good fight. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, you have just heard from Little Miss Jeopardy herself, that body snatcher, and now that Bethany House executive director. I appreciate you. I appreciate your service.
Thank you,
I
ma'am.
love your heart. Please let me know if there's anything I can do.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. It's been an honor to be with you. You know I love you, so it's fantastic to be able to spend this much time with you unencumbered.
Oh,
So invite me back sometime.
yes. What? Please. Because they don't know. Wait, we didn't tell them. We're both confident coaches.
Yes, we are.
So that conversation is soon coming. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Good night.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Confident You podcast. Yes, tonight was serious. Yes, tonight was heavy. Yes, I feel as though it was something that was definitely needed to discuss. So I'll say all the things. Please like, share, subscribe, follow. You see it there. Everything that she mentioned, all of the information, I'm also going to add the Bethany House telephone number in the description box for this episode. If you know someone, if you are that someone, there is help. We just heard it. There's help. So I would say, everyone, take out your phone. So before you follow me, I would ask this. Share this episode with anyone you think that needs it. Watch this episode with your kids so that it can then become a discussion. Something, a point of information, reference to discuss and see what's going on. I would say that especially when they go into high school. You heard her story as she turned 13 and decided, you know what? I got this. I want to explore the world. Let's watch out for our children. Let's watch out for each other. We are our brother's keeper. She said, call the police if you see or hear anything. Don't worry about what someone will think. It's just a call for help. And that's what they're there for. So I would ask, before you like, share, subscribe, or follow, if you would just put this number in your phone, 888-80-HELPS. So that if you ever run across somebody and you see someone in need, you can share that. And there's also this number for the National Domestic Violence Hotline, 1-800-799-SAFE, SAFE, SAFE, 1-800-799-7233. Again, before you like, share, or follow, share this episode with someone who actually needs it, or with a kid that you just want to go over some things. Your child goes away to college and they come back and you're like, something's not quite right. Maybe this is something you can watch just to bring that conversation up. All right. Thank you. I appreciate you. Have a great one. Take care.